Okay, still waiting. It doesn't look like they were even prepared to have my father removed from the building yet. Gonna drive up a little bit ahead just to see if we can see in his window to see if they're preparing him or what's going on. So yeah, it's my father's room there. With the window open, but we can't see. So I can't see him. Yep, can I see him? I'm trying to see what they're doing in there. Well, while we wait, let me tell you the story about HealthSouth. HealthSouth is a corporation that was started by a respiratory therapist named Richard Scrushy about 20 years ago. Now, Richard Scrushy had a brilliant business plan to corner the market on these rehab facilities. Problem was, Richard Scrushy's business plan included making it go public, and in order to go public, he had to cook the books to a tune of about $4.9 billion. He was later indicted for that, and almost all of his CFOs. So here comes my father's stuff. Hey, is that Grabsky's stuff?
Yep.
Okay, great. Is he going in that one, in that ambulance?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Richard Scrushy and all of the CFOs that worked for the company for about 10 years, they all spent time in federal prison. After which Richard Scrushy was indicted for another major financial fraud, and then he went to prison. He got off on the original charges, blaming all the CFOs after he and his wife started a televangelist network and pretended that he was a good old Christian to the jury. But what I learned once we got here was when I started seeing them trying to push my father out in less than 2 weeks' time, and then them telling me that Medicare was requiring, and the rules of Medicare and the laws of Medicare only gave us 2 weeks' time at maximum, which I knew to be false and fraudulent. And then I started putting the pieces together. When my father first got here, we had gone through so much in the prior 3 months, when my father actually suffered traumatic spinal cord injury due to a fall due to the negligence of another hospital. And when he got here, actually, after spending a month in another rehab facility rehabilitating his pulmonary system from complications from further negligence at that first hospital after his surgery, this place negligently denied him proper pulmonary care and respiratory therapy, and he relapsed. And then they attempted, while he was having problems breathing and had pneumonia, they attempted to send him to a certain death to a Florida nursing home, rather than providing him care for not only the injuries he came here to get care for, but for the pneumonia and the edema and other conditions that he suffered as a result of their negligence here. But my father, on the first days we got here, and I wanted to keep him cheerful because we've gone through so much, kept wondering, he says, why is this brand new facility with this really expensive exterior and a lot of equipment in the gym, by the way, which almost never gets used. I mean, at least half the machines never get used because the people never successfully reach that point that those machines are of use, because they're all kicked out in 2 weeks. But my father kept saying something's wrong, And I kept saying, no, nothing's wrong, nothing's wrong, nothing wrong, you know, just ignore it, keep him happy. But he says, he kept asking everybody, do they not have certification? And I had already guaranteed that they were certified. But it was odd that this the full facility was almost completely empty the first several days that we got there. But in the 3 months we've been here, what we noticed is that they come in cycles. Every 2 weeks, the hospital fills up to pretty much capacity, and then on Thursday and Friday, 2 weeks later, the hospital empties out, and it remains empty till about Tuesday or Wednesday of the following week. And they go down to a skeleton crew and spend little money on operating during those days, and then they fill the beds back up. And what they're doing is, you see, Medicare pays hospitals in lump sums per condition. So it doesn't matter how long the person stays, though the intent for Medicare is to have them cured. It doesn't matter how long it takes to cure them, Medicare pays the same price. So what this facility does is it lies mostly, well, Medicare is primarily elderly patients, so it lies to them and to their families who tend not to know much about the laws and medicine and Medicare rules. And it tells them you're only given 2 weeks, and then maybe if you need it, we can squeeze in 1 or 2 more days. And they pulled that stunt with us, and they tried several times to do that, and I began doing a little research, and I discovered that pretty much this individual facility is operating since October, when it opened its doors, primarily making its profit by taking, let's say Medicare pays for X number of weeks. You know, X number could be 4, could be 8 of care. Well, if they kick them out in 2 weeks, that means X minus 2 is pure profit. On top of that, the bed that's already paid for X number of weeks then gets filled up with another patient. And then that patient gets discharged prematurely and early and sent to a nursing home where they're likely not to do well because they haven't actually gotten the therapy they require. And they then fill that bed up a 3rd time and get paid the same bed 3 times. So they have no problem spending 4 or 5 days with an empty hospital because they're making money one way or the other. Now, what I hypothesize, and I think it's a pretty good hypothesis, the more I spoke to the corporate headquarters in Birmingham. Now, you got to understand, this is the largest Alabama corporation. It also is the largest owner of rehab hospital, inpatient rehabilitation hospitals in the country, and it's buying them up by the truckload every month. And I believe that the business model that Richard Scrushy originally came up with, independent of the extra fraud he had to commit in order to go public by cooking the books to make it look more profitable for investors, but the profit was all intended from the start and calculated from the start based upon a manipulation of Medicare's lump sum payments, knowing that if they send everybody out in 2 weeks, and they admit their average patient stay is 12 days, but it's not 12 days because the patients get better in 12 days, it's 12 days because they guarantee they're out in 12 days because they force them out. So as I began to expose that, and to their frustration refused to sign my father's rights away and allow him to be discharged, demanding that they actually produce a valid medical discharge order stating that he no longer needs medical care, which, by the way, are being transferred and admitted into the VA in Tampa, and their spinal cord clinic shows that that medically he needed further care, and in fact higher level of care, proving that every time they tried to discharge him, they were doing so with medical negligence, intentional medical negligence. I spoke with about 6 other patients and their families, all who had experienced the same thing. As I earlier spoke with one of the greatest members of the staff, she admitted that she sees this problem daily with the patients being mistreated, and she even complained that they mistreat their staff. The CEO of this particular facility, Jill Jordan, only came here after about 3 weeks of us being here. She came from Phoenix City, Alabama, and she's one of this tight little group of corporate executives that form this company and then are milking it, you know, getting high-paid salaries out of this, you know, fraudulent derived profit that the corporation is getting. So one day I put them to the test and I challenged them. The whole thing's recorded and you can hear it here on YouTube. And I have the meeting and I have their failure to be able to answer a single question about Medicare's rules, about their claims about Medicare rules, about my father's diagnosis, about his treatment, about his plan of care, all of which they not only should have answered months before and refused, but none of which they had properly documented. Here comes my father now. Hey, Kimberly!
How are you? It's a big day, huh?
It is. Thank God we're getting out of here. Not because of you, because we loved you. Hey, Day.
Yeah. He's going to the where? Tampa Spinal?
Tampa, the VA Spinal Cord Clinic.
That's good.
Yeah, the specialty spinal cord
They're
unit.
Work on this arm?
They're going to work on his arm. Hey, Day.
I gave him a big hug, right? You're crying. Hey, seriously? So all this stuff, you record all of it here in the back. Okay. That's going to be this and all of the med rec up until this morning. Okay?
Wave.
My wave. One hand, hold this up.
Yeah. See, that's good. That's more. Just not that long ago, you couldn't do that, right?
Yeah, right?
It wasn't that long ago. That's good.
Yeah, but you can't get it up.
I know, but you're going to be able to get it up. That's what we're going to Tampa for.
Yeah.
You look good. You look good.
He did.
You excited?
Something new.
Something new.
If he wants to drive, I can sleep.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, that, won't hurt my feelings.
I mean, I'm driving his car right now, so we got to get him back to driving.
Charles, I like your car. It's cute. Wish you the best of luck, sir.
Although I got it packed with boxes.
I can see that. Like to the top.
I know. Well, I had everything, you know, for 6 months in here, and then when I got home after they kicked me out of here, I never got a chance to clean it out, and so then I had to put other stuff that they took out, so I just got it all in here.
All his records are in the back, in the envelope.
Oh, good, good.
Okay.
Thank you. And everything's out of the room?
Everything's out. I checked all the drawers and everything.
All right. Hey, thanks. You, both of you guys have been wonderful to him and did a great job, and
It was a pleasure.
we'll miss you. Oh yeah, that's good. Thanks.
This is all the medical records up until 6:30 this morning.
Oh, okay, great.
And then this is the bag, and it has my email address on there too, so you guys can keep in touch and let me know how he's doing.
Thanks. I'll keep you in touch.
Yeah. And then this is just the stuff that was in the back of his chair, like the putty and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
All
yeah.
right. Take
All right.
care.
Thanks. Hey, give me
You're
a hug.
welcome.
We really appreciate everything
No
you've done.
problem. He was a pleasure.
You can give me a hug too. You were wonderful too.
Oh, good.
Thank you guys.
It was a pleasure working with you guys. You too.
All
I'll
right.
see you. Good luck.
All right. Yes.
Good luck.
Yeah. I'll let you know when he's driving again.
That's awesome.
All right.